So, is it stress? We know that stress is a major trigger for people. We know when cortisol levels are high, then we don't break down our histamine as well. We know that, was there a shift in the microbiome, right? Was there some antibiotic somebody took, or did they get some stomach bug that caused inflammation in the gut that then started this histamine intolerance? Or, was it some shift in medication? We know that some medications can decrease the breakdown of histamine. So things like ibuprofen, taking too much ibuprofen, or other pain medications, or certain antidepressants, or of course antibiotics, may all cause a shift in how we process our histamine. And then the other thing we look at too is mold, because for some people, mold exposure can result in more histamine release from the mast cells, and then more histamine intolerance in some people. So, that's really important, that underlying question of why.
So basically what you're saying is, I mean, I always say this: functional medicine is the medicine of why, not what, not, oh, why you have histamine intolerance, but why do you have it? And what are the reasons? And there's so many things that can disrupt our immune system, from, like you said, disturbances in our gut microbiome, which create a leaky gut and toxic bacteria or bacterial overgrowth. It could be environmental toxins that make us susceptible and screw up our immune system. It could be mold exposure. It could be some genetic factors that affect our ability to break down histamine. We'll talk about how to deal with those things and how to test for that. And we also see, like you said, stress and other factors can really trigger this whole histamine intolerance phenomena, which is really just often disabling for people, because they get so triggered by their environment and by their diet, and they're kind of always itchy and miserable. And it's something that actually can, like you said, doesn't have to be a lifelong syndrome, but actually can be properly treated in a way that actually gets rid of it. And so I think what is the sort of thinking around the mast cells? How are they kind of triggered so that releases histamine? Because mast cells are part of your white blood cell system that's everywhere, particularly in your gut, that triggers, when they get triggered, they release histamine, and that creates this overactive immune system.
Right. So there's so many things that can trigger it. They've looked at things, as we were talking earlier, about like mycotoxins, and how mold toxins, toxins from molds or mycotoxins, can cause more histamine released from the mast cells, and that can cause more inflammation in people's body and create this sort of vicious cascade of events that can happen for people. And we even know like infections can do it. There's been a lot of research looking at COVID and how that can, how that triggers the mast cells to be producing a lot of cytokines and in this inflammation, and results in these processes. And as you were mentioning earlier, right, we know that shifts in the microbiome are huge.